Good evening everyone. Hi, it's Linda here from Inspired Art Journaling, hopping on to the Hillbilly Shenanigans Facebook group tonight just to do a little bit of playing with some collage papers and other bits and pieces. Welcome to those who haven't joined me. I'm just sort of doing these while Jen's away on that fabulous holiday of hers, and so I have been doing a few sessions, one a month over the past 4 months. So you can scroll back through the or go up to the videos section and you can have a look to see what other things I've done throughout the past 4 months. And yeah, so they have been added to YouTube as well, so you can always access them. So for tonight, I thought what I would do is I'm going to do a challenge. The challenge ingredients that I'm going to be working to is using black and white paint or black and white collage paper, anything as long as it's black and white, using staples and the word bold. So I've gathered up a few little bits and pieces. I always like to have a focal image. So, you know, I've got various things. I've got some washi tape here and a bit of ribbon that's got black and white and grey on it. And also, originally I was going to be bold using this stamp here. This is a Tracy Evans stamp. It's an older one, TE32. If you're interested in it, I'm sure Jen might be able to grab it for you. But Tracy is one of the wonderful artists that will be joining the retreat in November. So go and check out her work because she does beautiful things and she has the most gorgeous stamps as well. Yeah, so originally I used the alphabet on that, and so I just did it in a couple of different ways. But then I remembered, because I've got to use staples, because then I'm thinking, oh, what am I going to do with staples? Then I remembered I have these letters in my stash. These are Tim Holtz from, a long time ago. I'm not sure if they're still available or not, but anyway, I thought I'll grab those out and use those because they're big and bold, and the idea is I'll be using the letters and the staples to staple them onto my page. So I shall just put those aside and hopefully not lose them before then. So I shall put them over there, hopefully in a nice little position there. Also, I thought I just pulled out a little bit of collage paper just to left over. This is from an older release from Dina Wakely, sorry, Art by Marlene, black and white collage paper. So there's kind of lots of things in there. So I've just grabbed out one of those, and so I'll be using that tonight. And I've had this sitting here. This is one of her recent, I think it might have been July, I don't know, I can't remember, but how long I've had this. Haven't used it, and I thought all that beautiful mark making stamps there, I'm going to use that tonight. And also I thought I'll use this stencil. This is from Mel Johns. If you bought the cruising kit that Jen released just before she went on her holiday, there was a kit and Mel put one of those into the kit. Mel is from scrapbookingandcraft.com.au. So worth having a look at her website. She's got all sorts of stencils, cut out like die cuts, all sorts of things that you can, papers and stuff that you can order. So do have a look, and the prices are fabulous. So have a look at that, because I thought, I'm into circles at the moment, so I thought I'll try using that one as well. A few little circles on here, so it all kind of fits in, but that's okay. So let's go get started. Just sort myself out here. Okay, I'm just going to be working in this little book today, and put my image to the side there. Get myself all organised. Just going to slip that in underneath there. Should to do it that way. It's better that way. Okay. Now I haven't gessoed this page, probably because, let me just, oh that's gel medium. Mostly because I will probably, what the black, sorry, I'll start again. The black and white paint that I'm going to be using is actually gesso. So the bottom layer that I'm going to be doing here is actually going to be gesso. So that's why I haven't bothered to pre-gesso, but usually I always pre-gesso. It's just something that I've always done. So no real preconceived notion about what I'm doing here tonight, but just sort of starting off with this part because I just wanted to get some gesso down so that I can then start adding collages, paper and all that sort of stuff. So I'll just bring my palette and grab a, excuse me for reaching over, just grab a bit of paint there, too much of course, that's okay. I'm just going to wipe my brush off. I'm not actually washing it because I don't mind if these colours blend a little bit. And I'm just adding just a bottom layer. I should put a bit of white out as well. I rarely use white paint anymore. These days I just use my gesso as my black and white paint. So I hope everyone is having a great night, nice and relaxed. Is anyone playing along or I mean, as you can tell, this session isn't actually live tonight. I've had to change my plans because I've got people coming over tonight, so it made it a bit difficult. So I thought I'll do a live instead, a recording instead. But of course, throughout this, if you've got any questions, still type them into the comments and I will answer them as soon as possible. Okay, so I've got a bit of a blotchy mess there. Let's just dry that off a little bit. Push that up a bit further. Alright, that should be enough of that. I need that to be dry because I want to put some collage paper over, and so it really does need to be dry to adhere properly. So I've just got that little piece of collage paper. It's nice, it's a thinnish sort of paper, it's not very thick, so that's okay. And I'm just going to tear it up into little strips. And I might actually tear that down that way. And I might tear that across there like that. Tear one across there. Okay. Might as well tear that while I've got it, okay. May not use all of those pieces, but that's okay. I'll just put them there. Gel medium. Oh. Just put my brush in there. Gel medium. Okay, here we go. No real thought about where I'm putting these. I will put this one across. I am a person that especially when it's got print on it, that I do tend to keep the print going the right way. I'm not a person, not that you can't do anything like that. That's just not me, that I can't. It's just something my brain can't handle. Print going sideways. Oops, paint's still a bit wet there. That's okay. I'm going to be putting paint over it anyway, so that's not a big issue. We'd like to try and come off the edge there a little bit. Oh dear. I think what it is more so is the gel medium can shift your paint a bit, your underlayers, if they're not thoroughly dry, but that's okay. So, like I said before, Jen will be home in the next couple of weeks. She's only got a couple more weeks to go. Last I heard, she was in Tahiti, which I think would be marvellous to be. Haven't been to Tahiti, but been to Hawaii, but not Tahiti. So she's on the home stretch. I admire her for doing it. I don't know if I could. I personally couldn't live on a boat for 4 months, but I'm sure those that do it think it's an amazing experience, as it should be too. The mere size of these boats that they go on, just really, I can't comprehend that. It's like a mini city. And I might just want a little bit of overlap, so I just want to make sure that it's all connected a little bit. Okay, I can cut off all these bits that are hanging over at the end. And I've done this part. I'm overthinking it. And I might just stick a little bit there. So we've got handwriting, a bit of mark making on there as well. That would have to be the worst brush I've ever used for that medium, but anyway, that's okay. It did the job. So I've just put a little bit, just some random bits around. We will dry those off. Just better start lifting this up so it doesn't get stuck. Come on. Okay. Just get my yucky old scissors. Just trim that off there. That off there. This around. Come on. Sorry, I'm off camera a bit there. All right. That is all good. All right, so get rid of all that out the way. Use that for another time. Okay, so I'll go back to my original brush. Actually, no, I'll get another one. And I'll get some more white, get some clean white. And just going to, I'm intending to put the words down that side, so it's going to need a darker background on that side, so that is my intention. So because on the white you can't see it, but you can see it more on the darker, so it does need a little bit of darkness on that side. But that will all come in a moment. I just wanted to lighten up this page for the moment because I'm going to do lots of stenciling and stuff soon. So I'm just going to come back in now. Where's my stencil? Yeah, okay. I've just decided, no I'm not, kind of doing this on the hop, as you may have guessed. So I've kind of covered up a lot of that, which it will probably get covered up a lot on this side. But you can always wipe it back if it gets too much. Okay, let's just keep going. Sometimes I think to myself, why do I go to all the bother of putting collage paper underneath? Because then I just cover it up. But you know, I mean, it's all part of the process, isn't it? So I'm just going to dry that off for a moment. So I've got a few of those pieces left over, and so I could put at the end, towards the end, I mean on another layer, I could put a little piece up here, which I probably might do, because my intention was to probably put my, yeah, so I might put that off, and I might put that up there, but I'm not going to paint over it like I did before. I'm going to keep it relatively clean. What happened to my, I picked up the white gesso instead. It's a problem when everything's in the same, similar sort of container, particularly if it's the same brand. Okay, so I'm going to pretty much leave, I love the idea of this design, so I'm going to kind of leave that as much as possible. I will embed it with a bit of stamping around it or stenciling, but I want to keep the main part of that open. Alright, let's get rid of him before we do something. Okie dokie. So, like I was saying, I want to put the bold words down there. So, what I'm going to do is, let's just see how we go with the black on black. Bit of an experiment, but you know, that's what this life is all about. I'll use one of these. I always have some yucky old blending thingies for adding paint on. Okay, just grabbing a bit of my, I hope I'm still on camera there, the black gesso. Don't want too much on here, so if you've got, always just tap it off. And we'll see how we go. You're not going to see a lot of this, but it's just to add a little bit of texture, interest. Now, can you see on the outside there, I'm trying to make it a little bit wispy at the edges, which is the reason why I use my domed blending tool, the blending foam, because it doesn't give the harsh edges, okay, because it's got that rounded edge, it actually does leave a very soft edge around your stenciling. I'm just going to try and hold that. So I always keep a couple of the domed foams for that reason. Usually a black or a white one. Okay, it's kind of moved a little bit, so I don't know if you can see that. It is there. I'll bring it up to camera just so you can sort of see. Just waiting for the camera to catch up. So it's just that little bit there. Oh, oops. Oh, I haven't turned the light on. No wonder you can't see. Okay. Alright. So it's just visible. So I'll turn it around this way. Actually, I'll turn it around that way. And I'm just going to do a little bit down here as well. It's quite open, so it's a bit hard to hold the stencil, but it's a lovely little stencil. It's the kind of thing I can see me using this one a lot. Especially I want it for around the edges, just to, okay, because I didn't want to cover up that too much. And I'll work in 3, so I better put a little bit up here as well. I'll just put a little bit. How about we go like that? I don't mind, there's a little bit of white on here, and I don't mind if a bit of white, if it goes greyish sort of colour, the paint, because I am just doing it ever so softly. Always remember, your work always looks like a hot mess when you first start off, because when that first layer I did, I thought, oh my goodness, that looks dreadful. And but as most of you probably know, your first layer is always a hot mess. Okay, so I'm happy with that. I'm not going to do any more. What you do need to do is immediately put that into water to keep it wet so that you can clean it out and use it again. If you let that paint dry in there, you have to throw it away. Also, keep an eye on here. If you get paint in there, scrub that too, because the paint builds up and then your foams won't fit on. So you need to keep those very, very clean, okay? And look, I'm not really a stencil cleaner. This is about as much as I do, unless it's texture paste. Just grab a couple of wipes. Okay. All right, that's that for the stencil. Just put that aside for now. Put lids on things. Just excuse me for a minute. I mean, I could go to town putting texture paste and all sorts of things on here, but you know, I'm not tonight. Doing a black and white challenge is a challenge for me, because as much as I love the end result and all that sort of thing, but gosh, I hate working with black paint. I really do detest it. Oh, sorry, I just need to have a drink then. Alright, so, and then we'll still have, I'm picking this up carefully, we still have a bit of contrast, so you know, our picture's still going to look nice and bright against it, and so that is good. I'll put a bit of splatters and things like that as well. So it can be a little bit hard when you're just working with black and white to get, you know, particularly when it comes to putting stamps and things like that on it. But then this is where, you know, we'll use our mark making stamps to help tie it all in. So let's just have a look. Something that I will get out too is I do have a white stamp pad. So I will do some white stamping as well as the other stamping as well. So I think I want to bring in some of these dotty things, because I've got my circles, so now I want some, oh goodness me. Oh goodness, could not get that off then. I might do the letters one as well. That always makes it interesting. If I can ever get it off. I won't do any more than that. We'll see. I'll just leave it. I was going to do the border, but we'll see how I go with that. I want to remember that I've also got my washi tape here. This is an All and Create washi tape. So I probably should put, and again I've particularly, now let me, my picture will probably go about there. So I'll just put some, just some little bits. And again, wherever I put these sorts of things, because, you know, I am working on the fly here, so whenever I put things like this, I will know to go back and probably do a little bit more stamping around just to make that connect to the background. So whilst it just looks like a pimple there, it will tone down a little bit. Now I've lost the tape. Oh, here it is. Okay. And I like to just do it all off edge. I will put a little bit of matte medium over this. A little bit up there. Oops, not quite straight, but that's okay. And just a little bit there. Alright. I think I'll leave it at that because you can get too carried away. So matte medium, and I'm just going to dab my finger in. I'm just putting it on here first because I just know that that's going to probably shift the background paint, and I really don't want to change the colour of the matte medium, the washi tape. So I'm just rubbing around the edge just to make sure that those edges are sealed, and there's a little bit on the actual tape. I mean, All and Create is a really good washi tape. I personally don't have any issues with it coming off or anything like that, but quite honestly, I always like to have a little bit of an extra layer over the top wherever possible. Just dry that off a bit. Now, I was saying to you before, I want to connect that washi tape to the background. So I'll show you a little trick that I learned off SEP17. Of course, I want to find my favourite stamp, which I haven't used for a little while, so it's probably buried down the bottom somewhere. If not, I'll find another one. Just forgive me while I just have a bit of a scrounge through here. keep all my favourite stamps in this little box, but the box has become that full of favourite stamps that it's kind of lost its uniqueness. Okay, it'll be here somewhere, but anyway, I'll use another one. Right, I'll use this one instead. As soon as I switch off, I'll find it. But anyway, that's okay. All right. So grab my black. Get rid of that. So I'll grab the black ink pad, and this one's got edges on it, which is what I don't like about it. But anyway, that's okay. So it's a really lovely stamp. So you can sort of see it's got a word on it. I'm not interested in that, but I'm more interested in the roughness of this section around here. I'm not loving the straight line there, but that's okay. We'll work with it. So I'm just looking at this Art by Marlene one. Actually, this one will do what I want. Sorry for changing my mind there, guys. So this one's quite, you know, it's nondescript, you know, so it's got uneven edges and that kind of thing. That's what I want. So I'm just going to, I'm not doing the whole stamp. That's something of Seth likes to talk about too. He doesn't use all of the stamp when he's doing these things. And then you just press, and so you bring it down. So you start into bringing all of that in. I'll bring it up to you so you can see it in a moment. I'm just making a little bit of a story here. So I just want to do this because I'm just trying to soften any of the lines that are there, okay? So that is what I'm doing. I'm not covering up the stamp completely. I'm just softening its existence on the page. But also to do that too, you do have to bring the stamp down. So I just do a bit of ghosting around the edges. So it all looks like it all belongs. And I will do more up there, but I just want to bring this up to show you so you can sort of see what I'm talking about. Waiting for the camera to catch up, sorry. Just want to make sure you can see what's going on there. Okay, so it's all quite dark now, but you know, it could do with a little bit more, but you get the general gist of it. So I'll just do this up here as well. And you've got to incorporate the rest of the page as well to make it look like it's meant to be. So just a little bit over what you have done, just so that the eye will see that there is connections. The eye will make the connections for you. And I'm just not loving that. All right, leave it at that for the moment. No, we won't. Sorry, I've just seen I haven't got. Just worried about the top up there, but that's okay. All right, leave that. So there you go. That's the Art by Marlene stamp that's come in very handy there. All right, so I'm going to. I'll use the numbers. I'll do them in black. I might just grab a little bit of a block. I'm not looking for perfect prints. Where's the E? Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, so I'm not actually looking for a perfect print, but I just want to bring in, now I know you're thinking it's probably really dark, and yes, it is really dark, but I mean it's meant to be black and white. I think I've made that, satisfied that requirement. I'll just put that there. Alright, but we'll bring in lots of splatters and things like that too. Alright, so lots and lots there. I'll just put this up. It's a bit hard, but that's been there to get a good print. But anyway, alright, so okay, we're getting darker and darker and darker. Okay. And I want to really dry this off because I'm going to start using white. Okay. Alright, let me have a look at this. I know it's looking very dark on this side, but trust me, we'll put a few splatters on there, but when you put your white letters on there, you know, it's going to look quite nice with those on there. So, yeah, just waiting for that camera to catch up so you can sort of see a little bit of interest there. It's wonderful. Yeah, so you can see those letters really stand out on that side. Okay, so now I want to do some, oops, I want to do some white stamping. So I'll grab this block, and again, I don't care if it doesn't do a good image. Now you can, if you've don't have a white stamp pad, you can use white paint. I'd be very careful. I'd probably use a roller if I was going to use paint. So put your paint down here, roll it on, and then just roll it, okay? Because you don't want it to go too much into the crevices. Roll it, and then very lightly, because with paint you don't want too much on. It will probably be a messy print, but yeah, but you must wash it off completely before it dries, because it will stick in there, and especially if it goes in the crevices, it's going to block your stamp. So if you do use white paint, you must go and scrub it so that the stamp is not compromised in any way. Alright, so, and I like the idea that this is a new stamp, so I don't have to worry about black paint being on it. So normally if I did have black paint on it, I would try and clean it off as much as I could before I finished up. No, before I start, sorry. Okay, just push that up there. I just want to hold off. Yep, so can you see we're bringing in a little bit more white, bringing it a bit down here, just lightly, okay. It's a bit hard up there, didn't realise, forgot about the spiral's great. The book is great, but it's a bit hard when you want to stamp up the top. So just excuse me for a minute while I do this. It's just a bit tricky. Use your brains, Linda. Okay. So I've just stuck that right up the top so I can get close. Alright. So has everyone bought their spot for the retreat? I believe there's only a few spots left, so if you've been toying with the idea, I suggest you get in pretty quickly. So can you see now we have brought back in some white in there. It will look grey because colours that are underneath white will come through. You know, even if I was doing a red or something like that, it always ends up looking a bit pinkish because the underneath layers will come up through the acrylic paint. So it will have a slightly greyish look about it. That's okay. Later, when I do my white splatters, I'm going to get really thick with them, and I'm going to really splot it down so that I get those really strong white marks. Okay, so I'm going to dry that off because it does tend to be a bit wet, that white ink. Now just have a look. Was there anything else I was going to put on? Don't think so. I just wanted to keep it fairly light for you tonight. A lot of my work is all in the bottom layers. So I mean, yes, I do like to do some with the focal images, do layers as well, but you will find that a lot of my work is heavily focused on creating the backgrounds and building the backgrounds up with layers and layers and layers. So that's probably where I spend a lot of my time preparing for that. Okay, so let's move all of that out the way. I think I'm getting pretty close to wanting to put this together because I don't think I need anything else on here. I'll tell you what I will do for the minute. Yep, I'll grab that because I want to put a little bit of splatter there, but I don't want to put a lot. So I'm going to put that there, and I'll just grab the back of that. I like to put that there because I do get a little bit excited with the white. Now I also like to use, I personally use artist ink. Now I know Jen at one stage there, she had the Montmartre inks, great. Unfortunately they're so small, the white one I used up in no time, okay, and it's just unfortunate that they don't sell them singly. So it's good, there's nothing wrong with those, they're fabulous. You get lots and lots of different colours. They come in 12 sets of 12 or 6 or something, but I've used up my black and white. I almost inhaled it. But so my next go is, well, I'm using the Artilia. I also have the 13 Arts as well. That's a really thick one as well. So I hover between these two. Depends on which one I pick up first. But it is acrylic ink, nice and thick. It can take a little while to dry, but that's okay. Comes with a great little dropper. I do add a little bit of water to it because it is quite thick, but let me just think, where am I? I'm going to try, this is a new brush that I've got. I'm going to try this one dry. If you want a concentration of splatters, I think it's best to use it dry. Sometimes I will, then I'll do some of this with a dry brush, then I will wet it to loosen up the paint a bit so that you get a more spread out section. So we'll see how we go because it's the first time I'm using this one. So I usually like a fan brush. Oh, see what I mean? I love that. Not everyone loves that. The only problem now is it's going to take a while to dry. So now is when I do need to put some water in because it's just not spreading like I want it to. Like I say, this is the first time I've used this one, so it's not really sure on what it is going to do. Just hope it's not covered up by my picture too much. So I just want to be very, come on, not too much, just bring in a little bit there. Alright, that will do for that. Now that's going to take a while to dry. Ladies, what I'll do is I might grab my hairdryer rather than my heat gun because it's stronger heat, but it does mean I can't talk because it's very noisy. Okay, so talk amongst yourselves for a little bit while I get this dried off. Okay, look, I know that that's not properly dry, but I'll work around it for the moment. Yes, so something I wanted to do was, I was going to grab some of this. Let's just see, just some new ribbon that I got. We'll see how we go, because I might grab some cotton as well. It's not quite as black as I was hoping. Put that there. So let's just not quite sure if that's going to be successful or not. Just leave that there. Black cotton. Whoa, oh dear, I'm on the floor. Great. I'll leave it there, it's not going anywhere. Alright, so here we go. I've got a big chunk of black cotton there. So I'm going to smush it up into that. So normally what I like to do is I tend to always do this, and people who've watched me before will know what I'm doing here. I tend to, when I'm doing cottons or strings or something like this, even, you know, your muslin, cheesecloth, that type of thing, I always like to because I'm putting it out the side, I tend to staple, use a few staples on here. Okay, and just just be careful. So my picture will probably go about there somewhere, and so I'm going to have my bold coming out there. Right. Okay. I won't overthink it too much. But that's kind of what I'm doing. So I'm just sort of spreading that out, and that's not sitting very nicely. That's okay. Just grab the... Come on. There we go. So I'll put that there because that'll still sit nicely, you know, with the letters, so you'll still be able to see the letter. So if I put that there like that, okay. So the reason I do that is so that I can glue that all down to the back, to the bottom layer, and I know it won't, you know, the thread won't fall out. Lots of glue. Put it about there. Now in this case I probably could have used a black piece of card. It would not be so bad, but you know, that's okay. So that'll just sit in there nicely, so that won't move. So at least you know your strings and all that sort of thing aren't going to move out. Whoops. That's moved a bit there. Got my finger stuck on it. That's okay. Now I'm thinking I might grab I might just put the picture onto a black mat. Put that on the floor. Leave that in a minute. So let me just... Oh gosh, got white paint all over me. Just want to cut that edge off there. Make it clear. Ah, dear me. Now, I only like a small mat. And I eyeball. I don't measure anything. Okay. Alright, that will do for that. I just felt it helped to stand out a little bit more. And in fact, what I'm going to do, I've got another new stencil, a stamp I just got. That looks like cotton thread. Oops. So, where's my white? Not that you're going to see much anyway, because it's only around the edges, but it will just look like beautiful. Now, I won't tell you where I got that from. This is one I bought from overseas in France, so it's quite expensive. So all right, okay. Just dry that off a little bit. Okay. It's all very clean and sharp, so I want to sort of keep it that way. Now I've lost the glue stick already. Oh dear. All right, just get any excess glue off there. All right, I quite like that. Oops, there we go. And right, okay, so I will glue this down. It's going to be a bit tricky in some of these spots, but I'm hoping it will be okay, which is another reason why I usually put that down, so that my picture's also got something to stick onto. Sorry, can't talk and think at the same time. It's still wet there, but that's okay. I'm going to have to manipulate that to get that down, but I can always play with that later, just to make sure that that just sticks there. If it doesn't stick this time, I'll do it later, but I usually use a bit of glossy accents. When something doesn't want to stick, I usually find my glossy accents fixes the job. Yeah, I'll fix that up later. Okay, so let's get our figures. Something that I will, no, I'll do this first. So what I've done is I've actually got the letters. So I've got B bold. Okay, so the idea is the B will go across there and the bold will come down the side here. Okay, that was my thinking process for it. So let's just see how we go. So I don't know, I'll just put, and I'm not necessarily going to have them straight on. Let's get rid of that. The last thing I need is to staple that on. So let me just get this down. Okay, now will I fit into there? Let's see how we go. Sorry if I'm off camera there. Is it gonna, oh, it just fits. Well done. I'll put 2 on. Oops. There we go. B. Sorry, I'll stick this way. B. And like I said before, I'm not going to make them further. We'll do it there. Okay, be bold. Alright, so that's going to annoy the hell dickens out of me. I am going to, what I want to do is just grab the tiniest amount of black ink. Just put a little bit on the side there. Yeah, put that there. Smaller one even. Always keep little bits here for this reason. Okay, I won't use that one. I shall use I should have one here. Yeah, this one of my old ones, so I'll use that. I usually use a fan brush, so I just want to stick a little bit of black. Alright. Okay. Now there's one last thing I want to do. So I will stick that thing down, it's driving me nuts. That's okay, wipe that off before I stick my fingers in it. Okay, so first of all, just going to do a very random sort of, it's the only problem with that, I have to just make sure I stick those together next time. Now I'm being wibbly wobbly deliberately, okay, because I don't want it to, I never do anything sort of straight, and I would certainly never use a ruler. Okay, but on the outside I will use my Life of Colour or Posca, whatever brand that you have, or paint pen. It's not working very well, but anyway. Doesn't like it. I might have spent some time looking for pens at work. And you'll notice I'm holding my pencil pen backwards, not down here. I'm not writing, I'm doing art, so I hold it back. That is what allows me to use loose lines, and that's what helps to make them wibbly wobbly. And probably the fact that I've had just had a cappuccino coffee doesn't hurt either. I always do 2 or 3 lines because I just don't want it. It looks odd if it's just one line, but if you do a few, it just, oh, okay, that's part of the process. All right, I'm going to say that that is done now. Bring it up a little bit so you can sort of see. I will push that down because that's annoying me, but all of that along there. It's just because I've got layers underneath there. It just needs a little bit of a helping hand, and I may even go around the edge of that just to help it to pop a little bit. Oh, there's something else I want to do too that, oh gosh, that coffee's really set in there. Okay, something I wanted to do. Now, these are the Art by Marlene markers. I know it's a black and white. I know it's a black and white challenge, but I just feel she needs a little bit of a highlight. And that's all I'm going to do there. Okay, oops, oh dear, it's still very wet there. Alright, so that's it for let's get rid of this, makes it ugly. I'll just do that to give it a bit of a border. Okay, there we go. Just wait for it to catch up. Okay, there it is. Just sorry, just bring it down a little bit. Anyway, sorry guys. So, yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's probably where I'll go. I might even do a little bit of black line work on the picture, because I feel like she's just not standing out enough for me. So I might play with that, and then when I've finished, I'll put an image up on the web. And also, I look forward to. I just want to take this opportunity to thank Jenny for allowing me to do this while she's away. It's been a great opportunity, and also, yeah, don't forget she's back at the end of September, so things will start to move for the retreat. She's got a lot of work to do when she comes back, so we just have to be a bit patient, and she'll get those kits up as quickly as possible to purchase. Going to be some wonderful classes this time. I'm looking forward to it, and yeah, so don't forget to check it out if you haven't already booked. Get in quickly, because I do think there's only a couple of spaces left. So anyway, thank you for stopping by and supporting me throughout the past 4 months, and I hope I've given you a little bit of inspiration there for doing your own work. So thanks guys, see you later, bye bye.